Please welcome Scott Addis.
Today we're going to go ahead and challenge you to dare to be different. And many of you today are very different, but we're going to challenge you in a way which really make you think, how different am I? Am I really going ahead and driving the emotions of those organizations that I serve? Am I having the kind of impact that I want? So if you don't mind today, we're going to change the name of the program. Instead of Make More, Save More, we're going to call this Dare More, Make More. On October 10th of 1990, I had to make a decision. I had to be different, because that's what was at risk. My wife is sitting here today, and I can tell you that there are different times in life where we have to go ahead and make a risk. The youngest boy, who's now up in Boston at 23 years old, that's the little guy there, he was not born yet when I started the company. And I remember sitting there and said, you know what, I can't fail. I just can't fail. I have to go ahead and take a risk. I've got to be different. We have to go ahead and challenge the status quo. We've got to be different, and the answer is trying to understand what are consumers looking for. And we are consumers, and we have to understand what drives emotion and try to parlay that into how do we actually drive emotion in those that we serve. But I'm going to show you a very simple formula in probably 30 seconds or less. Step one, discovering the customer, or identifying exposures in our world. Step two, strategies to mitigate and manage risk. Step three, putting in a plan. And step four, monitoring. How simple is that? Discovering the customer, to think strategically, to put in a plan, and monitoring. But in our business, and I would say not in our business, in so many businesses today, people are trying to go in and jam products and services and resources without doing what? Without truly discovering the customer. If you don't discover the customer, how do you think strategically? I think most people today want their physician or other people providing services to really go ahead and take the time to provide services and resources and consultation and diagnostics that really fit perfectly. But in today's society, I think the quick fix is people starting in step three, trying to say, here's a product, here's a service, without really discovering the customer. So when I look back and look at the Chamber of Success and look at other great organizations that are sitting in this room today, it is your desire and your passion to really try to understand each and every organization and how can you better serve them. Is in life, we talk about potential and performance, and how many times have we said, that person has so much potential, but it's not realized. That business has so much potential not being realized. And my son or daughter has so much potential not being realized. And many times, how often do we say, and I have so much potential not being realized? My challenge for each of you, and I know you're very different already, is to go ahead and really self-examine yourself and say, can I be different in even a more significant way? So the question is, does your performance reflect your potential? That's the question I ask you today. Does your performance, wherever you are in your career, personally as well as professionally, does it reflect your potential? And if the answer is no, I dare you to transform yourself in your business, to be different in a way that really goes ahead and drives emotions. I don't know about you, but I see commoditization impacting our business community in a huge way. So what is commoditization? It's if the consumer can't see a difference between product A versus product B, service A versus service B, and if they can't, what's a differentiator? Price. I don't want to go ahead and be a price. You don't want to be a price. So commoditization will occur if you allow, yes, if you allow the consumer's focus to be on the offering rather than the quantifiable difference that you can make for the customer. The customer experience journey, what is it? We spent the last 15 minutes talking about it. It's the sum of all the experiences the customer has with you and your firm. Every single interaction, no matter who it is in your organization, that is part of the customer experience journey. You might say, well, that's my receptionist. Well, guess what? That person is part of your customer experience journey. Every person helps mold and shape the experience. So the key is the customers need to feel the following. They need to feel important. They need to feel understood, heard, respected, and most importantly, they need to feel engaged. And you have to take a look at these and ask the questions, do my customers really feel important, whoever they may be? Do they feel understood? Do they really feel heard, respected, and engaged? And I would suggest look at ourselves. In the interactions we have, do we really feel as consumers that many companies meet those criteria? And I hate to say today, we'd agree they don't. So memorable customer experience involves strategy, discipline, technology, relationship management, branding, leadership, commitment. You never, ever, ever walk into a meeting without an agenda. I have my agenda, I have his name on the agenda, I have his logo, and I say, Mr. Rosenzweig, I'm so honored to be here today. Stephen, I have an agenda, but can you tell me more about you? What a simple question. Tell me more about you. What makes you tick? 15 minutes later, half an hour later, 45 minutes later, an hour and 15 minutes, he had talked to his goals, his dreams, his aspirations, his first hire, his last hire, why he gives back to the community, why he coaches kids, his vacation home, his parents and where they're born, where he hopes his kids are going. And after 20 minutes, I said, this is the worst meeting I've ever had. He's not giving me the chance to articulate how I create value. And after an hour and 15 minutes, after me not saying a word, he stood up and he said, Scott, this is the best meeting I've ever had. And you are flat out remarkable. Betty Ann, would you come in a second? Betty Ann, we're going to have lunch at the Union Lake next week. I want to have lunch, but I'm doing business with this guy, and he shook my hand. I walked out of the meeting, and I kid you not, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. The whole day I'm going back to, and this was a $40,000 revenue account to us. So I come home that night, and I said to Bobby, who always listens to me, and this is probably the first time she's ever seen my performance, so I'm scared to death to actually critique my performance today. But anyhow, she said, how was your day? And I said, it was great. Well, why? That's my problem. I don't know why. Well, what happened? Well, I had a great meeting with a company. She said, oh, they love your process. No, not really. Well, what happened? So I went through the whole thing, and she started smiling, and she said, my God, that's why I think I love you so much. She said, because you don't really get it sometimes. And she said, do you know how I would feel if someday you came home and you said, Bobby, you work as a nurse at Lankenau and Paoli hospitals, how was your day? And make her totally the focus of the day. Everything is about her. And that's what I learned that day. I learned a huge lesson. More than anything in life is how do you drive emotion as part of your process, allowing the consumer to talk about their goals, their dreams, their aspirations.